Hi kids, today we're going to be reading On Their Way by Maish Goldish, illustrated by Mark Moore. The big boat slowly made its way toward the shores of New York. People on board looked out and grew excited. "Look, Letty, it's a giant woman," Jim cried to his sister. He pointed straight ahead. Letty's eyes grew wide. "That's Lady Liberty," she gasped. "Lady who?" Jim asked. "Liberty," Letty repeated. "Freedom is why we came here, Jim." Both children smiled as the boat sailed on. "Do you think all people in America are as tall as Lady Liberty?" Jimmy asked. "Of course not," Letty laughed. "People here are the same size as we are. We will live like them too. We will live well in America. I heard the streets here are made of gold," Jim said. "I don't know about that," Letty said, hugging her brother. "Right now, I'm just worried about finding Aunt Jenny. She's supposed to meet us here. I'm not sure exactly where." An officer on the boat called out, "New York! Ellis Island. Everyone take your bags. Have your papers ready. Everybody off." Letty and Jim held their bags tightly. Letty felt scared. She was not sure what would happen next. "Stay close to me, little brother," she told Jim. "No matter what, don't walk away. I need you to help me watch for Aunt Jenny." Letty reached in her pocket for a picture. She showed it to Jim. "Like this," she said. Everyone on the boat lined up. They waited a long time. The line finally moved. People stepped off the boat and entered a huge building. There were tables and benches everywhere. Inspectors stood by each table. "Step forward," the inspectors cried. "Have your papers ready. Step up." Letty took the travel papers from her pocket. She and Jim walked up to a table. "Papers, please," an inspector said. Letty handed her papers to the man. He read the papers carefully and then looked at both children. "Are you two alone?" the inspector asked. "No mother or father with you?" Letty shook her head. "Our father died when we were little. Our mother is too ill to travel. She sent us to America." The inspector sighed. "We don't let any children from foreign lands in unless a grown-up comes to collect them." Letty and Jim looked puzzled. "Collect?" Letty asked. "What do you mean?" "To meet you here," the inspector explained. "Someone to take care of you." Suddenly, a smile broke out on Letty's face. "That's no problem, sir," she said. "Our Aunt Jenny is going to meet us here." The inspector did not smile back. "Do you see your aunt anywhere?" he asked. Letty and Jim both looked around the room carefully. There were so many people, so many faces. No Aunt Jenny thought. "She'll be here," Letty said. The inspector stamped the papers and handed them back to Letty. "Go to the next table," he said. Letty and Jim walked to the next table. A doctor was working there. A long line of people waited. "Next!" the doctor cried. The children stood near the back of the line. Letty looked a little scared. "What's wrong, Letty?" Jim asked. "Nothing," said Letty. "It's just that I've heard stories. If someone is sick, they do not let them stay in America. They send them back home on the next boat." "But we are not sick," Jim said. "I hope the doctor agrees," Letty said. The line slowly moved forward. Finally, the two children were at the front. "Next," the doctor called, "take off your coats and hats." The doctor pointed a light at Letty's eyes. He looked into each eye carefully. Then he pointed the light at her ears and looked into each one. Finally, the doctor checked Letty's hair. "You look fine," the doctor said. Letty sighed. The doctor then checked Jim. "You're fine too," he said. "Next." Letty and Jim left the doctor's table. They put their coats and hats back on. They carried their bags with them. Suddenly, the children felt lost. No one had told them where to go next. They began to walk around the large room. Letty took the picture of Aunt Jenny from her pocket. She and Jim looked at it. They looked around the room. There was still no sign of their aunt. Did she forget that they were coming today? Mama had written a letter. What if Aunt Jenny never got it? On the floor lay a newspaper with many advertisements in it. Letty began to read. One advertisement said, "Room to rent at 109 Mott Street, second floor. Cost is $1 a week." Another advertisement read, "Job at Harry's Pickle Shop at 21st First Avenue, must be able to speak English." A third advertisement read, "Come to Coney Island, fun for the whole family. Swim, eat, play, dance. Anything can happen." Letty turned to Jim. "I wish I could find Aunt Jenny's name in the newspaper," she sighed. Jim looked unhappy. "I'm hungry," he said. "When do we eat?" Letty checked her pocket. She found 3 coins. "We'll eat soon," she said. Just then, an inspector walked up to the two children. "Where do you two kids belong?" he asked. "Who is with you?" "No one," Letty said softly. "No one?" the inspector said, surprised. Jim looked scared. "What will you do with us?" he asked, shaking a little. "Foreign children with no grown-up to collect them must return home," the inspector said coldly. "Those are the rules." Just then, a voice in the crowd called out, "Letty, Jim, over here!" The children and the inspector looked. A woman was waving and racing towards them. "Aunt Jenny!" the children shouted. The children and their aunt hugged one another happily. The inspector smiled and left. The children followed Aunt Jenny to a large door. Letty showed her papers to an inspector. At last, they all walked outside. To leave Ellis Island, they had to take a short boat ride. Then, at last, they were in New York City. Letty and Jim stared in surprise. The streets were jammed. Crowds of people were everywhere. "Is all of America like this?" Jim asked. "Just New York," Aunt Jenny laughed. The three walked to a shop for lunch. Jim kept his head down the whole time. "I'm looking for gold," he explained. Aunt Jenny laughed again. "There's no gold in the streets," she said. "But people can make money here if they work hard." "Will we live with you?" Letty asked. Aunt Jenny paused. "No," she explained. "My home is not big enough. Tomorrow you will both ride the train. You will live with your Uncle Sid in Cleveland. He has a big house." The next day, Aunt Jenny took Letty and Jim to the train station. She kissed and hugged them goodbye. "We will visit each other soon," Aunt Jenny promised. On the train, the children stared wide-eyed out the window. "America is a special place," Letty said. "One day you're on a boat, the next day you're on a train. One day you're in New York, the next day you're in Cleveland." Letty and Jim looked forward to their new lives in the land of liberty. Like the newspaper said, anything will happen. On their way. I'll see you guys.